Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have DJ Akademiks responding to Wack100 on No Jumper after saying Kendrick Lamar stressed Drake out so much that he had to cancel his tour. They also spoke on UMG's response to the Drake lawsuit as well, so we'll also be taking a look at that. And just looking at Drake, you can assume that the dude is extremely stressed out. And with the past year he's had, one doesn't have to guess as to why. Mostly at his hands, but definitely kickstarted and triggered by Kendrick Lamar and one of entertainment's biggest fall from graces ever recorded. Even the timing of the Australian tour to either disrupt or get away from Kendrick, with it coincidentally being scheduled to kick off right during Kendrick Lamar's historic Grammy night and Super Bowl halftime show, which was in fact the most watched halftime show ever. And like I said earlier, you can physically see the stress on Drake's face. The before and after pics literally look like those presidency before and after pics. And no matter how many times you want to tell us you're not stressed, we're not going to believe you when you've acted the way you have this past year. And honestly, body language speaks volumes. And we all know Ak will say just about whatever to move the goalposts and push whatever erroneous narratives, no matter how blatantly ludicrous they seem. But Wack is the type to be stubborn in his belief whether there is evidence or not. And it is always baffling the lengths academics will go to for a person that seems that they could care less about them. But enough dilly-dallying, let's jump right into the video where we have DJ Akademiks responding to Wack100 on No Jumper after saying Kendrick Lamar stressed Drake out so much that he had to cancel his tour. They also spoke on UMG's response to the Drake lawsuit, and I definitely expect some different energy from Ak because Ak isn't going to crash out when the dude is sitting right next to him, but this is going to be interesting. This lineup honestly looks like a Federal Informants Anonymous meeting. You got the biggest tattletales in hip-hop all under one roof.
Drake being so stressed out about Kendrick's success, he canceled his tour.
Oh, what? No, he's not. Yo, Drake FaceTimed me last night. He's in Houston.
No, he canceled the tour, bro. We saw it.
Yo, Drake called me in Houston last night. He put his pops on the phone.
No, we're not talking about last night. We saw it.
It was poorly routed,
No. Ain't no router. You'll prove your route before you leave. You talking to a manager.
Obviously, that tour seemed hastily put together, which furthers my narrative that the dude either wanted to be away from this, that Drake was trying to use this to take some of the light away from Kendrick Lamar, which obviously it didn't do, or just flat out get out of the country while Kendrick Lamar was probably having the best month that a rapper has ever had, given the run he's been on for the past year. But a lot of people have to sign up on these details before the tour ever takes place, so they knew about this whole routing situation from the beginning. So the only people actually being affected are his fans, which is crazy because that's probably the relationship that Drake has to foster the most, like I said, given the year he's had. Let's not alienate any of these fans. Given the fact that he hasn't been in Australia in, over a decade, who knows if he ever does go back. He literally couldn't stay put for 12 days to fulfill his obligation, and that says a lot about where he's at and where his head is at.
How do you feel about him being so stressed out? Mentally don't know.
No, let's talk
shit when you be on your live.
Let's talk
now we hear live and direct.
Let's talk manager.
How do you feel about Drake being so stressed out?
I think Top
that
Dog
he canceled his tour.
I think Top
for
Dog.
the Kendrick success.
Top Dog.
Say it again.
Top Dog.
Say it again.
He called in the favor to say, Wack, you can't be that neutral no more on social because
God, the level of culture vulturery all in one room.
You were so neutral at first. Now it's all Kendrick, West up. It's all that.
He's a rat.
No, who?
Drake's a rat.
How?
He blew the whistle.
Fuck on the kettle black. This is a room full of alleged rats. But obviously we have direct documentation for Drake. But I know Wack calling anybody a rat is definitely going to elicit a lot of laughter from a lot of people.
Wait, so let me ask you a question.
Lawsuit?
No, let me ask you a question.
No lawsuit,
suing your record, suing your record label's a rat?
Bro,
you're a manager.
Joe.
No, you're a manager.
Joe.
So if Interscope didn't pay out everything they owed to the game or Geffen action.
Yeah, but the situation that Akademiks is trying to propose is honestly a different situation altogether. Of course, if the game's record label wasn't paying out, you would have to use the legal system, which is honestly very different from the Drake situation, where he allegedly has benefited from all this, and UMG has the receipts to prove this. So probably the only reason why you're even going through with this lawsuit is because you're not the golden goose over at Universal anymore. So it seems like actions of a spoiled kid who's not getting his way anymore.
Or let's say Koch, wherever he's released, if he sues him, is he a rat?
I was going to let you get up out of
Koch
here.
is E1 now, I think.
No, hold on. Is that a rat?
Did you watch what UMG said? Let's touch on this. The first important thing UMG said was because Drake lost the rap battle to Kendrick. UMG said this.
Okay.
Right?
How does that?
You said a rat. Hold on, I'm going to get to this. We released his song.
This is how he put you to.
Akademiks. You really got to slow down with the Henny because it's definitely affecting your comprehension. Don't always agree with Wack100, but he's definitely right now. If he was really this confident with what he felt, he wouldn't have to scream over Wack.
We released his songs when he said all the heinous things about Kendrick. Kendrick said nothing.
But how is he a rat? You got to explain the rat. You ain't get there yet. This is what Wack does.
When you start talking federal offenses, payola, that's ratting. Especially when you're talking about this very same thing that helped you climb the ladder. Now it's a problem.
Hold on.
Those rumors have followed Drake basically his whole career. He's had these bot accusations for a very long time because of a lot of his later hits definitely felt like they were artificially pumped. And that's one of the perks of being the golden goose over at Universal, who happens to be probably the biggest music conglomerate, probably entertainment conglomerate in the world, with them owning, I want to say, close to 70% of all commercial music. So you know how the game is played because you were allegedly playing the game for over 15 years. So now that you're not getting the results that you were once getting, you want to go and crash out and bucket the system that has basically made you the person you are today. Because without them, I truly don't think you get anywhere near the levels of the career that you have achieved so far. So it looks extremely salty that you're doing all this right now. Instead of just going out there and proving that you're still worth what you think you are, like going out there and releasing hits, stuff that people can relate to and gravitating to, you're releasing songs that sound uninspired while simultaneously pissing off the same people that, even if you go independent, you're still going to need. You're still going to need Spotify. You're still going to need iHeartRadio. So if you're now pissing these people off, yeah, you might get your way, who knows, in a lawsuit, but what's going to happen when your music is effectively buried? When people have to directly click on a link to get to any of your stuff because you're not playlisted. We've seen any of these other artists that get canceled off these playlists and get their music delisted. You see a 60 to 70% drop in streams. And with the way Drake has been moving, I don't know if he understands how powerful having that is.
All right, can I make a
number one on these playlists?
Joseph Isgo is a close friend of mine. He did 10 years in the feds for payola.
You're using weird street
rules.
This a fact. You're using weird street rules for this. Hold on. Let me ask a question. If
payola
and Vlad again, you know this is God.
Vlad don't want no parts of this conversation. Trapler Ross is just happy to be there at that point, and he's probably very happy that the heat is off him. Wack100 was getting at him and not focus on academics.
Over here. And I would never expose any of our conversation. But let me just ask you a question because I think you might have some experience.
Okay.
Vlad's look on his face was like, you look like you would.
Sues an employer to say, hey, listen, I worked certain hours. I was supposed to get compensated based on overtime, but you.
This isn't the scenario that Wack was given at all either.
Didn't. Right. So I wasn't paid the adequate amount. So and maybe they approach the person and said they want to pay, so they sue them. Is that ratting?
No.
That's not ratting.
No. So you saying that Drake's suing UMG? How is that ratting?
He's suing because he's trying to expose the very system that he has allegedly benefited from. Not that he's been missing payments or that he hasn't been getting paid what he's worth. He's actually gotten paid exactly what he's negotiated for, but that would definitely be in the lawsuit on its own, which is a totally different situation from the one that Ack is trying to paint. Because yeah, if a business hasn't paid you what you're owed, then yeah, the law should get involved. Totally different scenario than the one Wack was pointing out.
And he's justified a million different lawsuits over the years, including street dudes. But for some reason, this one is ratting.
Because, okay, let me ask
Top
you
dog send the kite. That's
what
happened.
The best argument against it is that it's against the spirit of hip-hop, not that it's ratting.
Let me tell you how gangster is. We ain't even got to tell each other. We know what to do. Check this out. So you telling me, right? Now, I really like you telling me. The very same tools that was used to catapult Drake, he never said nothing about it.
Where are you looking at, academics? Pay attention to what Wack is saying before you go and try to move the goalpost again and reference a scenario that has nothing to do with what Wack is trying to explain to you right now.
And now he's saying payola, a federal offense.
Yeah.
Joseph Isgro, Googling. He's one of the last Gambino family.
Well, obviously, those are two qualities that you don't want either of. But two things can be true. You can be a rat and a hypocrite at the same time.
Understanding.
Bingo.
He broke Michael Jackson, Van Halen.
Probably the biggest hypocrite here.
The means of payola. They gave him 10 years in the feds
you have
for
a point
payola.
There. I'm giving you a point.
Come on, bro.
Hold on. I'm giving you a point to say. Could we make could we make an argument that
bro, let Top Dog and Kendrick in here. I am surprised. We're not playing. Let Top and Kendrick
That was a laughter out of nervousness. Or it could be the laughter of a person that's honestly probably Kendrick Lamar's biggest fan. Because like we've seen in multiple videos, I feel like Akademiks knows more lyrics than the most rabid Kendrick Lamar fan.
They're not harmful. What? Drake would catch a
I was going to do that same thing with Hit a J3. I thought it was more believable.
Yeah, you better not say no.
I was going to say Hit a J3 was here just because I thought it'd be a little more believable.
Hit a J3.
You a little nervous being in LA?
Nah.
No.
The obviously says it all.
Here, I'm like, yo, those the actors.
Loose is locked up.
Well, obviously, people got the address to No Jumper, especially the people that would like to do some harm to Akademiks for some of the stuff he said. That was all we needed to hear, especially with how boisterous Akademiks has been in his quest to big up Drake while also running his campaign against Kendrick Lamar. I know most people probably won't agree with like 80% of the stuff that Wack100 says, but I think this is going to be one of those cases where they actually do agree with him. Akademiks has to be probably one of the worst debaters I have ever seen, with his only course of action being bringing up a situation that has nothing to do with the scenario that Wack100 is pointing out. You can't deny the fact that Drake has been very stressed out from the way this past year has turned out. It's obviously something that he never thought would happen, given the fact he's moving the way he's been moving. Like a bitter scorn ex trying to take the dog and burn the house down, who's obviously failing at that and only just further plummeting his stock. But Wack is definitely right. You can't benefit from the system, allegedly, for the last 15 years and then get upset when it's not working out in your favor. You benefited more from this than probably anyone ever has ever. So yeah, while it's definitely hypocritical, they're also ratting out on these very people that have made you a lot of money. But like I said in the intro, Akademiks will go to any length to try to spin whatever erroneous narrative that he can muster to try to frame the picture he wants to convey, no matter how ludicrous it sounds. And every time he does this, he's just further depleting any ounce of credibility he still has, if you want to believe that he still has any. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Drake is a rat for doing all this? Also, do you guys think he's being hypocritical? I obviously feel like he's probably both, but definitely let me know what you guys think. Also, do you guys think there's any merit to what Wack was trying to say earlier on, that Kendrick Lamar stressed out Drake so much that he just canceled his tour? I honestly think that tour was just in retaliation to try to take some of the steam out of February for Kendrick Lamar, because obviously he had the Grammys and the Super Bowl halftime show, both which went incredibly well for him, having swept the Grammys and obviously, like I said earlier, having the most watched Super Bowl halftime show ever. So definitely let me know what you guys think. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys so much for continuing to make this channel a part of your day. It honestly is overwhelming, and the amount of love and support you guys continue to show this channel on a daily is honestly probably the biggest reason why I make these videos. So I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say about this topic. Hope you guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. The whole Vengers, man. The biggest culture vultures in hip-hop. At least Wack has actually like worked in the industry.